Okay guys, we're gonna go over this Melon Head assignment, which goes over using our selection tools and working non-destructively when we work with images. Okay, so, and you can also use this when we digitally paint and draw depending on your needs. So down here is the written directions if you want to download and just read the directions. And then here is the file for Photoshop, and then here is the image we are going to be working from, and then this is where you'll turn it in. So go ahead and click download me, and then if you have your computer set up, it will open it in Photoshop. If not, well, let me get out of this one. Just click on the downloaded file and open it up. Okay, so first thing, Control plus and minus will zoom in and out for you for this assignment, so I'm going to zoom in. These are not the best quality image, but since this is just a practice, we're going to use it. Alright, so let's get started. So we've opened up our file. If you look here, you can see our image is the background. And what we're going to do is we are going to duplicate this layer. So that way we have the original one. In case for some reason you mess up, you can go back. So I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag this to the plus sign down here on layers. And what it does a quick copy for me. Another way to do that is hit Control J. That is also a shortcut. So what you want is your background right here. Make sure it's locked. I'm just going to turn it off because I don't need it, but just in case I mess up on this one, I do have the copy in case I need to go back. Alright, so we are going to start with what's called our marquee tool, selection tools first. So you go up to our toolbar over here on the left hand side. If you look, the square marquee is the one that is out, or the rectangle marquee. And if you click and hold, we have a rectangle, elliptical, a single row, and single column. Most of the time you'll just use rectangle and elliptical. The shortcut keys for them are M. Okay. So we're going to start with the blueberry and cutting out the blueberry. So I'm going to hit the elliptical right here, and I'm going to go over to this blueberry. So I'm going to go over and we're going to zoom in. So Control plus, and you can see here it's just getting pixelated because it is a low quality image. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to select this blueberry. So I'm going to draw my circle, and then I need pretty much a perfect circle for this blueberry. So I'm going to hold down Shift, and then it's going to keep it perfectly in proportion. If I don't hold Shift down, you can see how it kind of does like ovals. So I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to draw around my blueberry. Now it's not exactly around the blueberry, so what I'm going to do is, while still holding Shift with my pinky, my pointer finger, I'm going to press space, and now I'm able to move this freely around while keeping the size. So I'm going to recenter this perfectly over that blueberry, and then I'm going to let go of my mouse first, and then I can let go of my keys. So there is a few ways to do this. So I want to make sure I'm on the background that we can see and that's not locked. And I'm selecting the blueberry from the background here. And a few ways you can do this. We can hit Control C, and then we can hit Control V. So what that did was it copied the blueberry. You can see now I have a copy of it. Okay. So if I just, if I go back in selection, if I just click and drag this, I gotta make sure I'm on the right layer. If you look, it cuts it out. We don't want to cut things out. That is a destructive way of working. We always want to keep our originals intact. You never know when you have to go back. So I'm gonna hit this. So you can do Control C and Control V and move, and it makes a copy. There is a faster way to do this though. If you hit Control J, you can look down here. It just put the layer behind it. But if Control J and then I drag, I have a blueberry. So And this is going to be one of our eyeballs, so I'm going to make this my left eye. So left eye. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom back out. Okay, so click off, and then I'm zooming back out, and I'm going to drag this over to my melon. Okay, so that's the first thing, is when we're cutting things out, we're not really cutting, we're copying and pasting. So you can either do Control C and then Control V, which is paste, or Control J will do everything at once. Every time you copy, it will always go onto a new layer. So if you look here, whereas Illustrator, it kind of makes a new layer within that layer you started, whereas in Photoshop, it will always create a new layer when you copy something and paste it back in. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is we'll need to create a second eye, obviously. So what I can do is, if you guys remember, the duplicate in Illustrator is the same for Photoshop. So all I gotta do is hold down my Alt key, and you can see my arrows have turned to double arrowheads, and then I'm just gonna click on this blueberry and drag it over, and now I have my second eyeball. And you can see here it's created a new layer, and it says left copy eye, and I'm gonna rename that right eye. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to cut out our carrot here. So same thing, it's a circle. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my marquee tool, my circle marquee tool here. Okay, and I'm going to center this time in the middle of the carrots, and then I'm going to drag into about all the way up to the top from the middle. And then what I'm going to do is hit Alt. So this way I'm actually working from the middle out. And you can see here how it drags, and then I might have to still hold. So instead of just drawing, I don't like using this way, but some people maybe do. But it draws from the middle out. So here you go. Oh, and I let go before of the Alt key before I let go of my mouse. So just make sure you're always letting go of the mouse first. So this is good. And I don't like that. I'm going to try it one more time and just get it right, you know, qualities in the detail. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, again, copy it. So I'm just going to hit Control J. Oh, and I gotta make sure I'm back to that background copy, so Control J. Right here, I'm gonna grab my arrows and I'm gonna move it over. So, and if I bring, it's already behind my left eye, so I'm gonna make this left eye, and I'm just gonna put C for carrot so I know. And then again, I'm gonna hold down my Alt key, I'm gonna click and drag, and now it's my right eye. C. Okay. Okay. So this is the two ways you can use the marquee tool. You can drag, and Control Z is undo. So you can drag like this, hold down Shift, it'll keep a perfect circle, or you can work from the center and hit Alt and it will drag out. Okay. So the next thing we're going to work on is the mouth. Okay. So the mouth is going to be the kiwi down here, okay? And we're just going to use the elliptical marquee, and we're just going to cut this out. So I'm not going to explain this, we're just going to do this real quick. Go ahead and do this one. Okay, I'm going to label it mouth. Okay, and then grab my move tool. And there you go. Okay. All right, so then the next one we're going to do is the nose of our melon head. If you scroll up here, here is the nose right here. And what we're going to use is a different tool than what we've been using. So the next tool we're going to use is what's called the magic wand. And it's over here, and let me find where it is. So it's right here. So the object selection tool, if you go down, if you look, it says the magic wand tool. The object selection tool kind of works, but if you ever want to use it, it kind of works. It just tries to select the object, but it tends to bog down the computers, and on the old ones it didn't work at all, and it takes a while. It's usually faster to use these different other tools. So, but here's the magic wand tool. So the magic wand tool works by selecting a color. So each pixel, you know, is a color. So if I select this, what it's going to look for is that color, and it's going to select the points within that color. So if I click here, oh, yeah, make sure we're back on it. So if I click here, you can look and you can see where it's kind of selected the same colors. So what we need to adjust is what's called the tolerance. So what it's saying is, I'm selecting this color and I want you to look for variances of this color. So the higher the number, the more variances it's going to allow to select. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to 50, and then I'm going to click again. And you can look here, and it's selected most of the pair like really well. There's only a few little spots right here that it did not select. So I could turn it up to like 55. And then if you click off, it'll deselect, and then click again. And again, it's leaving just a little bit right here. So what I can do instead of trying to turn my tolerance up is come over here. These are our different selection things. So one is a new selection every time I click. This one is add to selection, which is what I need, because I need to add this to my selection. So what I can do is I can either hold down shift and click and it will add to the selection, or I can click this and it will add to that selection. I prefer to hold shift, and then you can see now it has my nose fully selected. So again, I'm going to hit Control J. I'm going to label this nose. I'm going to zoom out, so Control minus. And, you know, grab my, you can deselect, and Control D is deselect. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to drag my nose, and we're ready to go. So I'm going to go back to my background layer now. And now the next thing we're going to do is the lasso tool, which is probably the most tedious, like the hardest one to deal with, but sometimes it's necessary. It's just, you got to hand cut or hand select everything. So the lasso tool is right here. There are the lasso tool, the polygon lasso tool, and then the magnetic lasso tool. So the two that we're going to be working interchangeably with is this lasso tool. So I'm going to click to this one. This one with the circle around it is free style. The polygon is like it does lines, so it just does straight lines every time you click. So what I'm going to do is we zoomed into our bow tie here. We selected our lasso tool, and we're going to start at the top left corner of the bow tie pasta, and we're going to drag to the right to create a freehand outline across the curves of the bow tie. And we're going to continue to hold the mouse. Now, to get this right, you gotta get your keys and your mouse in coordination, or it won't work. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start at this top corner, and then I'm just going to free draw with my mouse down, and then we're going to swoop back up, and then I'm going to stop at this point right here. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to hold down the Alt key. Maybe. Yep, I need to hold down the Alt key, and then I can let go of my mouse. So now I'm not holding my mouse at all, and you can see it's changed to this polygon tool, and it's just, I just click at the points, like the valleys and the peaks of each point, and I'm able to quickly trim around this edge because I just need straight lines. It's way easier than me trying to freehand this all the way. So what I need to do is at this last point, I'm going to click and hold my mouse button down again. I'm going to let go of the Alt key. And now I'm going to free draw again. So now I'm holding the mouse button down again, and I'm just going to freehand draw this out. Okay, and then again, when I get back over here, I'm going to hold my Alt key down first and continue to hold the Alt key down, and then I'm going to let go of my mouse. and it switches over to that poly. So this is the easy way to interchange the two, the freehand through and the poly. So that way you don't have to stop what you're doing. And then again, you just have to go back here to the end and click, and then you have it selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out again. I'm going to hit Control J. It's copied it. I'm going to relabel this bow tie. Okay, I'm going to grab my move tool and I'm going to bring it under here and put my bow tie down. Okay, so next thing we're going to work with is that other lasso tool, the magnetic lasso tool. We are going to cut out our little hat. Okay, so I'm going to go over to my mushroom here because he's going to get a mushroom hat. All right, so the magnetic lasso tool works by it snaps to the edges of an image as you drag. Obviously, the higher contrast, the easier it is to work. Sometimes it gets confused if it's low contrast and has a hard time discerning the edge. But it's pretty easy. So all you gotta do is click on your starting point. I'm gonna start down here, and you can see how I just kind of drag my pointer around the edge, and you can see how it's adding points as I'm going. Kind of like the vector images, like when we would draw in Illustrator. So I'm just bringing it all the way down, and it missed that corner there, so I will add that corner back in and sweep up, and then see how that circle now is there. So that means it's going to complete and grab the selection. So now I need to add in right here, it missed this corner, which is fine. I'm just going to hold down my shift key, which is the plus, or I can come up here and you can see how this changes when I hold shift. See how it's switching? So I'm just going to hold shift key, and I'm just going to start here, and I'm just going to drag it, and I can actually click to add a point in case it's just not seeing it, and I'm just going to come back here and finish it, and now it's added there. Okay, so now we're going to cut this out. So gotta make sure I'm back to that background copy, because again, there's no pixels for it to copy. Control J, and we're just going to label it hat. I'm going to zoom out, really far out, and Control D to deselect, grab my move tool, and there you go. Now he is got a hat. Okay, and all right, so the next thing we're going to do is use that magnetic tool real quick, and we're going to cut out the ear. Okay, so go down, grab my magnetic tool, and I'm just going to cut out the inside of this grapefruit. Okay, and then hit Control J. Oh, and again, make sure you're on that background layer, and Control J. And I'm just going to label this left ear. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to bring this over. Okay, so now we ran into a problem. This ear needs to move. So what we need to do is we need to rotate it. There's two ways you can do it. You can go up here, so our layer is selected. You can go up here to edit, and then you can go to transform or free transform, which you can see has rotate, scale, skew. It takes a long time. The shortcut is Control T, and that turns free transform on. If you can just remember Control T, that's going to be the best way. So we're going to rotate this, and if I hit shift, it's going to snap straight up and down. And then I'll just grab my move tool and move it down. And there you go. We have ear 1. So now he needs another ear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my, and it kind of needs to be smaller too. So I'm going to hit Control T. I'm going to make this smaller first. Hold it like this and move it here. That looks better. Okay. So then the next thing I need is another ear. So I'm just going to hold my Alt key, drag over, and then I'm going to label this right ear. Okay, so again, I need to flip this. So what I'm going to do is hit Control T, and this is my free transform, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit right click, and then I'm going to do flip horizontal, and now it is lined up and flipped, and he's got both his ears. Okay, so the last thing we are going to do is we are going to actually combine two of our tools to cut out our radishes right here. At least think they're radishes. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine my magic wand tool, which works best when you have similar colors you need to select, and my marquee tool. So I'm going to grab my rectangular marquee tool and I'm going to select the radishes all the way around. Now if you look, it's completely surrounded by white. So all I have to do is grab my magic wand tool and then I just need to click on the white. Oh, sorry. I need to grab my magic wand tool, and then what I need to do is I need to remove the white. So up here, instead of adding like we were before, we're going to subtract from selected. So I can click subtract from selected, or I can just hold my Alt key and I'm going to click the white. Oh, but I have to make sure that I am back on that original one, which I am not, which is why it's giving me an error. So background copy, and then I'm going to hold down my Alt key. And I'm going to have my magic wand. I'm holding down Alt, and if you look, it's got a great selection really quick. So again, I'm going to hit Control J, and then I'm going to move this over. Okay, so here's one eyebrow, and I need to do the same thing I did with the ear over here. So I need to flip it, I need to resize it. So Control T. I'm going to just make it a little bit smaller so it fits on here, maybe rotate it just ever so slightly. And then I'm gonna hit the check mark and say I'm done. I'm gonna hold my Alt key, drag over because it's duplicated, do my Control T again, right click, flip horizontally, line it up there, drag it out a little bit, and there we go. My guy is now done. So now you can rearrange these cutouts however you want. It does not need to look like this. He does look a little scary like this. Okay? Alright, so now what we are going to do is we're going to take our crop tool and we are going to crop the window. So up here in the left hand corner, this is our crop tool. I'm going to grab it and I'm just going to drag over here. And I'm just going to crop so all I have left is my guy's face. Okay? So, there, and now we're just going to add in a background. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab my magic wand and I'm going to grab, make sure I'm on the background. I'm going to grab my white background here. And then what I'm going to do, because it's just white, okay, and then I'm going to hit backspace and I'm actually going to delete that white out. So if I turn this back on, you wouldn't see anything. So I'm going to delete that backspace out because I don't want that white background anymore. And then I'm going to see how this has now no background. So now I'm going to grab a new layer and drag it underneath, and this is going to be our background actually. Ground. And I'm going to rename this head. Okay, so here is my background, and then I'm going to click on the gradient tool, which is right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a gradient. So Control D will deselect. I'm on my background layer, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a gradient. So I have my gradient tool here. I want it to be a linear gradient, but you can do radial. You can experiment with the different types of gradients. And if you look here, here are some preset ones. So like maybe that one's nice, and I just can click and drag, and there you go. So there is my gradient. We'll go more in depth on how to add gradients and change this later, but for now just add a preset one. And you are good to go. So go ahead and save this as a photo